Maya, breathe. What's going on? Is it work? It's Sam. It's always Sam and his grand ideas. He just spontaneously bought a membership to an exclusive, high-end private club. We're saving for a down payment, Chloe. He didn't even talk to me about it.
That's a huge thing to drop on you. How much was it?
Too much. And when I confronted him, he just said, "It's an investment in my network, Maya. Stop being so negative and controlling." I just feel sick. I feel like I'm the only one standing between us and total financial disaster.
I understand why you feel that way. It sounds like you're fighting about money, but you're actually fighting about something much deeper. The fight isn't about the club membership, it's about two colliding core needs. For you, this constant financial risk triggers a primal need for security and control. You view saving and budgeting as evidence of responsibility and a stable future.
Exactly. And I feel like he views budgeting as a cage.
He does. For Sam, your controlling questions and concern trigger his need for freedom and spontaneity. He sees money as a tool for experience and possibility. When you react with panic, he feels judged and suffocated. He feels like he has to sneak around to be his authentic, spontaneous self. But his spontaneity is my panic.
We literally have two completely different philosophies about money, and it feels like we're speaking different languages.
You are. You're speaking different money scripts. This is a psychological concept. These are the unconscious beliefs about money you learned in childhood. Yours sounds like a classic money avoidance or money vigilance script, meaning you associate money with anxiety, so you feel compelled to guard it fiercely.
My parents struggled constantly, always arguing about bills. Yes, I learned that money is danger and control is safety.
And Sam? His script might be money status or money spontaneity. He might associate spending with success, freedom, or worthiness. Buying that club membership wasn't a financial decision for him. It was an emotional one tied to his identity and his vision of his own future success.
So when I ask, how much did that cost? He doesn't hear a question about the budget. He hears, "You are fundamentally irresponsible and wrong."
Precisely. His defensive reaction, calling you controlling, is his way of protecting his inner self-image from your external criticism. You're in a vicious cycle. His spontaneity triggers your panic, which triggers his defensiveness, and that makes him feel justified in acting alone next time. We need to break that. To break the cycle, you both need to understand your scripts. Sam needs to understand that your panic isn't a weapon, it's a plea for security. But your job is to change the way you deliver that plea. The solution isn't fighting over the money itself, it's fighting over the meaning of the money. How do I talk about money without sounding like his mother or his accountant? I feel like I'm always using you messages. You use non-defensive listening first. Before you say anything about the budget, you validate his feeling. When he defends the club membership as an investment, you don't argue the financial merit, you argue the emotional merit. Try this. "I hear you saying that this club is important because it makes you feel successful and connected to your future goals. I respect that you want those things." Non-defensive listening. "But I also need to share that when big financial decisions happen without a discussion, I feel deeply scared and unprotected." I message.
Wow, that stops the war instantly. It validates his need for status while still holding my ground on security. I'm acknowledging his money script first.
Exactly. The biggest mistake couples make is treating money decisions as purely logical. You have to understand that his spontaneous spending is tied to his self-worth, and your vigilance is tied to your self-preservation. When you lead with, "I feel unsafe," you shift the issue from a budget problem to a trust problem, which is a couple's issue you can solve together.
Okay, so I lead with vulnerability and listen to the emotional why behind the expense instead of the practical what. But we still need a plan to actually prevent us from being broke.
That brings us to the most effective solution for couples with conflicting needs, the 70-30 model, or whatever split works for you. This is how you co-create a structure that meets both your need for control and his need for freedom.
I need a structure. What does 70-30 mean? You agree on the percentage of your joint income that goes directly into the security pot, the necessities, savings, down payment fund. Let's say you agree that 70% goes into the joint controlled accounts. That money is untouchable and meets your need for security and predictability. You both agree to the rules for this 70%. That makes me feel immediately calmer. Great. The crucial part is the remaining 30%. You agree to split that money into two personal freedom accounts, yours and his, which are completely separate. This money is for spontaneous fun, personal investments, clothes, or even, yes, high-end club memberships. The rule is, once that money is in his personal 30% account, he can spend it without consulting you or asking for permission. This meets his need for autonomy and removes the sneaking around. Wait, so he can still buy a membership, but it's coming out of his designated fun money? And I've already agreed to it in principle. I get the security of the 70%, and he gets the freedom of his 30%. Precisely. You shift the conversation from a moral battle, you are irresponsible, to a logistical check, did you check your 30% fund first? The system allows the relationship to trust the structure, not just the person. You stop being his financial warden and become his financial partner. So remember the core lesson here, Maya. You were fighting over a club membership, but the real war was between your money scripts, security versus status, and your core needs for control versus freedom. I get it. I need to stop seeing his spontaneity as a personal threat and start seeing it as his unique need. And by giving him controlled freedom through the 70-30 model, I protect both my savings and our trust. That's exactly right. The secret to financial intimacy isn't perfect alignment. It's creating a co-created structure that respects both partners' deepest emotional needs. Now let's go plan how you'll present this model to him.